Since 1952, a Houston institution, Cleburne Cafeteria has proudly served the citizens of Houston. From that friendly atmosphere as you step through their doors, to the hearty portions and their ever-popular freshly made desserts, Cleburne's goal has always been to please the customer.
They know how to feed you. You know, they give you value for your dollar. I don't know, I feel like I have a grandmother or somebody in the back preparing this. So it's made with love. The portions are great. The service is great. And it's just impossible to stay away.
This journey begins on the beautiful island of Patmos, Greece, where Nick Mickelis was born.
My father fought with the Allies to liberate Greece in the Greek Navy when the Second World War broke out. After the war, Greece was in shambles. A lot of people don't realize this, but in Athens alone, 250,000 people starved to death. So you can imagine being on the island of Patmos. There was no food. There was, like my father told me, there's no sugar, there's no flour, there's no oil. So everyone was trying to get to America just to survive. And my father's oldest brother, Anastasios, had been here during the war sending money back. And he sent for my father to come to Houston, where he was in a small cafe called the Mickelis Cafe on Prairie Avenue. And because my father was the next oldest in line to come, he was able to send enough money, and my father comes through Ellis Island, past the Statue of Liberty, and takes a train down here to Houston with a little tag pinned to his lapel that said Houston, because he didn't speak any English. The conductor would know, okay, hey, this guy's getting off in Houston. He arrives in Houston. My uncle Anastasios, who was also my godfather, picks him up, and he immediately starts working in the M&K Cafe, washing dishes, pots. And so one fine day, after meeting my mother, which he did by stumbling into a photography studio, which my mother owned back in the 40s, which was very unusual for a woman to own her own business. And she was a photographer doing portraits, and he walks in, and like my mom says, she got under that cloak of that old brown camera and took a shot, and lightning struck, and she fell in love with my father. And they occasionally would meet up for coffee. My father spoke no English, my mother no Greek, but like my mom said, the language of love is international, son. So they began kind of courting each other, and my mom brought to my dad's attention, look, Nick, I just found the Cleburne Cafeteria for sale in the paper. You need to go take a look at this business. So my dad went over there and goes, look, I've never even eaten in a cafeteria. What are you talking about? He goes, you could learn this business. And he thought of buying the old Cleburne at 1018 Cleburne. And these two little old ladies, two old maids that had never gotten married, had run the Cleburne for almost 10 years, from 1941 to this is now 1951, 1952. And so my mom says, look, you can do this. So sure enough, my dad got in there, rolled up his sleeves, and started learning the recipes of a cafeteria. And so that's how the Cleburne came to be. In 1952, my mom and dad had bought it. It's been in our family ever since. They worked side by side, learning the cafeteria business from the two little old ladies that kind of stayed on for a few weeks until they thought my mom and dad had got the hang of it. And it's been in our family ever since. And then as I grew up, I grew up in the business myself.
But in spite of their success over the years, there have been setbacks. In August of 1990, a fire engulfed the restaurant. As fate would have it, on April 26, 2016, 26 years later, a bigger, more damaging fire spread throughout the eatery, destroying literally everything, including some of the paintings beautifully created by owner Nick Mickelis.
The crazy thing about both the fires is they were both really unexplainable as far as what was the actual cause. In both cases, it seemed to be electrical. We don't know in the second case if we were hit by lightning or if there was something up in the dry storage area between the roof and the ceiling, but that's where it started. And they were both devastating fires. The first fire, we were able to save most of the paintings. This fire, we lost every painting for the most part, with the exception of 7 paintings that we were able to pull out of the rubble and get refurbished. And those are the ones that are featured in our museum when you first walk into the Cleburne.
As crews sifted through debris, George Mickelis was still able to stay on top of things through this difficult process to once again rebuild. But this time it would be bigger, with even more changes in store, with one goal in mind: to continue to give their customers the finest food and service every day. Their message was clear as people passed by those charred remains on Bissonnette: "We'll be back." And back they came. On November 13th, 2017, preparations began on a grand scale. As the Orthodox priest blessed the restaurant throughout, George accompanied them, his faith stronger than ever for the past 2 years and his determination to come back. The atmosphere was exciting as the staff went well beyond to ensure that everything was in place. In the much larger, newly renovated kitchen, preparations were underway in full force. From preparing the fresh vegetables bought daily from the local farmers market, to making those delicious cakes and pies, and cooking a variety of entrees that would be served to the masses. People lined up for hours to once again partake in a true dining experience.
Well, I started working a little bit down the street about 5 years ago, and so that's how I discovered Cleburne's. Like, I just drove by, and I was like, oh, I should go see, what's there. And I loved that it's cafeteria style, and there's tons of different options and choices. And so I'm just really excited that I get to enjoy some lunch today and get to see it back and thriving like it was before.
I've come here all my life. I've lived in this neighborhood my entire life, and I've since moved to Spring, but I come all the way back to Houston just to come here. And I heard from a friend they had reopened, and we made a beeline here today because we could not wait. I'm so excited to have my spinach casserole again.
We've been waiting and waiting and waiting for this to open. We finally found out. We now live down in Pearland, and we drove up here.
Well, I've come since I've been a little girl, probably 10 or 12 years old. I've always loved, as I was growing up, how I've watched their kids grow up along the pictures along the wall as I've walked through. And it's a fun experience. I've brought my daughters here today. My husband comes. My parents are longtime fans of this restaurant, and it's just always been a kind of a family experience for us. So.
The customers that have come back have been phenomenal. Our honeymoon, which is really the first 3 to 6, 8 months of a new restaurant opening, was unlike anything I'd ever seen before. We were serving thousands of people a week, and several thousand people a day would line up all hours of the day. The response of our customers has been just completely overwhelming. We really thought, my mother and I, that maybe you'd be forgotten in a big city like Houston, being out of business almost 2 years, but it was just the opposite. We were very well received, and we continue to be very well received.
Well, Cleburne captured Houston in its finest, especially on Sundays, special days like Mother's Day and Easter and Christmas, and it's just home for those of us who've been in Houston most of our life.
Quality food, lots of choices, friendly service, and quite frankly, it's clean, it's quick, it's good.
Their servings are large, they're more than ample, but they are always flavorful and tasty. That's the best thing. They are homemade.
Oh, it's the atmosphere and the food, the old-fashioned nature of the servers, and it just reminds me of when I was younger.
I've been coming here again since I moved to Houston back in 2002, and I was so devastated, when the fire, and then we had to wait on them to reopen, and when they reopened, I think I was the first person in line. But I love Cleburne's. I love the people. I love the atmosphere. It's just a great dining experience.
I've been coming here since it's been over there on downtown next to Sears. My dad was a store executive over there and used to come over there ever since then. Everything's from scratch. The food's just well done, well prepared, and you get huge amounts of food.
I think I've been coming here for about 10 years. I keep coming back because the food is amazing. Very good, very tasty, lots of it. And everyone that I meet that has never been here before, I bring them here. So this is my oldest son, and it's his first time coming here. So delicious. Yeah, so we all love it here. It's very good food.
Yeah, this is my first time here, and I am completely amazed. I'm like a kid in a candy shop when my jaw dropped completely agape as I was like going through the line and picking out my food and my choices. It's amazing. The size of the desserts are insane.
So, okay, the desserts are something that everybody talks about, and they are gigantic, and they are delicious, and yes, we make them here every single morning. We start at 5:30 in the morning. We have 3 bakers that have been with our family for years that come in and make these scratch cakes, pies, tarts, custards, and we do old-fashioned desserts. An old-fashioned cup custard was developed in 1941. Today, it can be called creme brulee or flan, but before those, there was the cup custard, and we're still offering it. We have our lemon tart, our famous bread pudding, our meringue pies are to die for. We have fresh apple, cherry, and then you get those pies that you can't find anywhere. It's like raisin pie or mincemeat pie. They're hard to get in your local pie shop.
The newly added complimentary valet was just one more gesture by Cleburne to give their customers a true dining experience. The new larger waiting area filled up in no time as the patrons enjoyed restored paintings on the wall as well as photos of the family history throughout the years. Previously closing every Saturday, now the restaurant will be open 7 days a week to make sure everybody gets to enjoy the dining experience at their convenience. The flow of customers along the food line is endless as Cleburne's Finest continues to serve a wide variety of choices. And before they checked out, they just had to get one of those mouth-watering desserts.
Well, we've been coming here for 27 years, my wife and I, and my family. In fact, her father used to do carpentry work when they were over in the original restaurant on Cleburne. Wow. He did carpentry work for the family here, and we've always lived in this area for over 30 years, and we've enjoyed coming here. The food's delicious. The people that run are wonderful people, and we just can't thank them enough for redoing this cafeteria the way they have, and we look forward to coming here in the near future.
The fact that it's a cafeteria, the fact that it's easy, quick, the food is very tasty, and it's reasonably priced.
Traditionally, I would come with my father here. Came to the old Cleburne's. Great food, great hospitality, excellent. The staff is wonderful. They're the ones that make this restaurant. So the food, and if you have a good staff and you have good food, you're always going to do well.
The last time I came here, I tried the fried steak. It was amazing. It's my dad's first time. He's coming from Europe, so he's here to visit. So let's see how he likes it afterward.
Hopefully he will.
No, he will, I'm sure. Yeah, it seems like he's going through it pretty fast.
Oh, trust me. I've been coming here years and years. Guess what? I ain't going to stop.
My parents brought me out here when I was a little kid, and I'm so happy that they opened back up again, and it looks gorgeous out here, and the food is just as good, if not better.
And we have a few added features this time around that we did in the first. We have the grill now where you can come in and order a custom cooked grill item right when you walk in, whether it be a steak or a piece of salmon or tuna or a crab cake. We're taking credit cards, which was huge for Cleburne. In the old days, we didn't. We have a private dining room now that seats up to 50 people for private parties and functions. We have the outdoor al fresco dining area, which is a real big deal for people that want to enjoy it on a day like today especially. So we've added a few things, also beer and wine, bringing that in, which traditionally wasn't part of a cafeteria menu, but people have appreciated it and have really accepted it as part of our menu, and it's doing very well.
It so happens that my grandfather is from the same island in Greece that yes, that the owners are from, and I've been coming since I was little bitty, and my mom and her 6 sisters also come regularly. In fact, my mom's birthday was celebrated here a few years ago. It was a lot of fun.
Oh, I've been coming to Cleburne's for over 10 years. I love the food. They give you big portions. The people are so friendly, and I just enjoy eating here.
I've been coming here about 20 years. Love the food, love the hospitality, love the service, and happy you're open again. When I got up to the register was that I had cash to pay because I usually just take cash. And they said, we take cards now. I put my cash back.
I'm from South Carolina, and this reminds me of home cooked meals, and I just love everything here. So I'm glad they have reopened, because now I'm back to get my home cooked meals. I will be back, yes. I had the fried chicken, and it was crispy. I had the corn casserole, squash casserole, spinach casserole, and Brussels sprouts, which are my favorite. And to top it off, the reason why I came was for that lemon cake. Awesome homemade lemon cake.
I like the food, I like the service, I like what he's done with this place, and he's a great guy, and they do a great job. It's the best cafeteria in North America.
Throughout the day, as the cars kept coming, and the main dining area maintains its full capacity. One thing is for sure, Cleburne Cafeteria will always be a favorite for those that appreciate great service, delicious fresh food, and a down-home friendly atmosphere.
Well, I think it's got to do with my mom and dad. They really instilled in me, my father being a Greek immigrant, my mother, the importance of your customer, being good to your customer, believing and truly believing the customer is always right, and putting the customer's needs above your own, and really trying to be consistent at delivering a quality product to them at a fair price every day.
We come all the way from Pasadena just to come here, especially on Sundays after Mass. All our family come up here and have a good lunch.
And I've been coming here probably for, 35 years, probably, something like that. We have been really missing this place. It is one of our favorites for sure. And we come once a week. I think that George should have a frequent flyer deal, but I haven't talked him into it yet.
I'm so happy. I think it's what Houston needs after Harvey. I think it's the best comfort food in Texas.
Well, I've been coming here for years and years and years when they used to be way out at Cleburne. The food is wonderful here, and gosh, I go to the best places in town. Now here's the best place in town.
I'm from Baytown, and we were so glad this reopening, and I used to work down here at River Oaks, and this was a weekly trip for us, so I'm just tickled to be here.
Yeah, I've been going to Cleburne since I was 3 years old. My parents used to take me. I used to remember getting custard from Miss Hannah when she was still around and everything, and I'm so happy that George has gotten the place back open because I've been missing my favorite food.
How long we've been coming here?
20 years.
20 years or more, yes, for sure.
Think about all this, and it's finally opening up again.
Well, it was about time. We were starving because we didn't get to eat for nearly 24 months.
Very exciting.
The food is always good.
I love people watching, and boy, is this a good place to people watch, and especially on Sunday afternoons after church. I love seeing all those church hats It's just a fun experience.
I have monitored the progress on this place for the last 3 months, 4 months, year, 2 years. And I couldn't wait for it to open again because this is where I eat lunch every single day. My office was right around the corner, and I couldn't wait for them to come back. There's no place like Cleburne's, no place at all. Favorite food, I'm having it today, chicken enchiladas. And my strawberry cake, yes, I saw it. I went back there to look, and they have it. So I said, I'm having that and treat myself today. I'm taking an extra piece of cake to the office because they're going to want mine. And I said, I'll bring them some they can have their own.
Well, I've been coming ever since it was in the other location on Cleburne. And I've been coming to this one for years, and I love it. And I love because it's all homemade. And George is such a nice person.
Services are great, and all the workers are very hardworking, and they get you whatever you ask for.
I just love the place. I don't know. I like the history of it. I love the food, obviously. It's kind of become a place where we're willing to drive across town for special occasions. So it's got, historical meaning for coming here over the years.
Man, it's just something about the way they cook their food. It's just good food. Good desserts, nice portions. It's a great restaurant.
Well, I would hope they keep coming back, especially now. Part of it's the nostalgia. We're one of the few old-time cafeterias still left. And as the world changes around you, the Cleburne offers a consistent comfort food menu that we all yearn for. We have meatloaf, turkey and dressing, macaroni and cheese, things that kids grew up with that they really love. And now these kids are bringing their kids in. So we've got 2, 3, 4 generations eating with us. And I think they love the consistency of the product. And they love the fact that it still tastes today the way it did when they first ate here back in the day.
It's just a really great place to eat. And I know there's other cafeterias, but it's the ambiance, it's the people, it's the way it's decorated, and it's like home for a lot of people.
Food is so good. The portions are large. I always have leftovers. I could eat later on. Everybody's so nice and friendly. The place is always clean. Like I said, I've only been here 3 times, and we drove over 100 miles and had to get a limousine to come here because we cannot drive. And so the food is good. And yesterday was my husband's birthday, so I said, this is where we're going.
We've been coming here for years, and we keep coming back because it's a Houston tradition, and it's wonderful food, and we love it.
Oh, we just love the food, and I guess we've been coming here for 30-plus years. And it's just great food and a lot of history. It's one of the landmarks of Houston. And actually, I brought out-of-towners here as a special occasion. And we're probably coming back for Thanksgiving.
My dad first came here 40 years ago, and so my dad and I used to come to lunch here, and then we would bring a lot of our associates from our work, and they call it it's our cafeteria. So we really enjoy it at Seco. We really do.
Well, to begin with, the family is incredible. They're all wonderful. We love the family. We've known them for 30 years, and very few places can you come to Houston and actually get fresh vegetables. And 4 grandkids, that's a big hit for me. So we're celebrating a good friend that's come back and good food.
We've been coming to Cleburne's for years, even on holidays. Sometimes we used to spend cooking on holidays to come here and have the holiday meal because the food is good, it's high quality, and it has a family feel that you just don't see in every other restaurant.
Well, I've been coming here since I was probably 7 or 8 years old. We go to church across the street at St. George, and our family's been coming here for years and years. So we love the food, we love the family. George and his family are great people, and it's just, you feel like you're at home, so we enjoy it.
Well, George and my sons were in school together, so we're very close, and he's such a great guy that I would come here if he was serving hot dogs.
It's the best restaurant in Houston. It's the quality of the food, the price. It's the very best in Houston.
our goal is to make sure everybody that comes in has a comfort experience, because we are offering comfort food, and so we want you to be comfortable, we want you to feel happy, we want you to feel good, and we want you to feel that you got great value for the money that you spend in here, that you got a great portion. Most people are leaving with a little doggy bag to eat a little something later on when they get home, and we want you to feel that, you know, you've also stepped back in time and have visited a time that was a little slower, not as quick paced, not as modernized, and not as technological as we are today.
67 years ago, Nick Mickelis believed in taking pride in what you do and give the customers an eating experience that they'll never forget. And from those early years, standing alongside his dad in the food line, learning every aspect of the business, and still today, George Mickelis is committed to continuing that family tradition that will keep his guests coming back for years to come. Yes, we can certainly say Cleburne is back,